Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of Some Kind of Fun. I've got some breaking news. Joe Biden has dropped out as the Democratic nominee and endorsed Kamala Harris. You heard it here first.
Yes.
I feel like I heard it maybe a little bit before.
They might have run across it a couple of places, but I think that's okay. Thank you for leading with that.
Yeah, I think our viewers love to get their news from Some Kind of Fun.
Yeah, they wait.
Keep your TVs off. Don't look at your news feed.
Exactly.
We've got what you need
for Some Kind of Fun yet?
That's right. It's our only thing. Like it's 60 minutes of like the Minneapolis music community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Mike Wallace of Some Kind of Fun.
I was hoping I was the Morley Safer, but okay, I'll be the Michael. Yes.
What were your top shows recently?
So I went to a fun little punk show at, is it pronounced Pillar? Pillar Forum. It's the A at the end that throws me.
Well, there's 3 L's, so
it's very strange. Pronunciation and spelling.
Yeah.
But a very cool space.
It is.
And it was 3 punk bands, My Kid Banana, who was awfully fun. The Right Here, Luke Leckler's in that one, who's in several other bands and is very good. And then Couch Potato Massacre. And it was just spur of the moment. Why don't I go to this? And I just loved it. So that was it for me.
What a great show for that space.
It was.
Cool.
What about you, Claire?
I saw a really great set by Mad Mojo Jet at the Entry, and a really, really great set from High on Stress at Palmer's. And it had been way too long since I had seen them. It was really good.
I was at both of those, and I concur.
Yeah. I think we were by each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You two were at the same show?
That's what also made it fun.
Some kind of fun. Well, I'm going to give a plug to another podcast. So the best show I saw or heard last week was Bandcamp Radio, featured a bunch of Minneapolis bands, Black Widow, Bowie Omega, Christy Costello, Scrunchies, Surly Girly, and Scrunchies and Surly Girly. So anyway, that was it was some kind of fun, except in some other podcast form.
Repackaged.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I love that.
Also, they started off with Husker Du, so you know it's my sweet spot.
Exactly.
Hey, we had a show recently, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. We had a party.
We had some kind of fun party, yeah.
Yeah.
We want to thank all the fun people at Palmer's and all the fun people that were in last week's episode. Thank you for being interviewed. And now, do we got us some clips?
We got clips from the show, don't we?
We got some clips featuring The Silent Treatment,
The Silver Teens,
Cindy Lawson,
Paul Engertson, also featuring Goo Goo Mucks,
and Whiskey Rock and Roll Club.
And after that, we've got an interview with Sally Linda and Milan Wilson Robinson.
The city is a jungle and I'm a beast. A teenage tiger looking for a feast. Yeah, I want the most, but I'll need the least. 'Cause I'm a teenage tiger and a stretch beast. You better duck. I come up the cuckoo. Sorry for fucking it up.
All right, you fuckers. You stuck around for us. Let's party!
Joining us now from one of my very favorite local bands, Big Salt, are Milan, Wilson Robinson, and Sally Linda. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Cool. So tell us about how Big Salt got started.
Well,
I'll let you start.
Yeah. So we first started out I guess in 2019. I met Eva on a Craigslist ad, and she and I started playing. We formed a cover band, and we were doing that for a little bit, and then we needed a new drummer, and so we auditioned Milan. And Milan came in, and then we were a cover band for maybe 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, like maybe
Maybe seven or 8 months. Yeah, not too long. And we didn't play out hardly at all. We just mostly got together and played music and kind of dinked around. And then we lost our bass player, and Eva and Milan said that they knew another bass player that was really good, that sometimes she played bass, but not all the time. And that's how we found Angie.
Okay.
And then we started kind of playing, and this was right around the time that COVID hit.
Okay.
And so for a long time, we all kind of worked from home. And so we would get together and meet in Milan's basement. And that's kind of how Big Salt started.
Nice. What kind of covers did you do?
Gal, we like Blondie. We did some
Blondie.
Blondie. We did Gal.
Tainted Love was one of our
Tainted,
first
yeah,
covers that
Tainted
we kind
Love.
All right.
around with.
We did a couple Katy Perry songs.
Okay.
It was
Yeah, I feel like we like played around. We were just kind of, I think especially because there was like this changing of the guards and it was a very transitional period and with COVID and all these things. And I'd been playing music for pretty much all my life, but this was the first it wasn't the first rock band I'd been in, but it was the first band I'd played drums in. It was like a lot of us feeling everything out, you know, and so that was really cool. Us hearing about what our influences were like from growing up and to present day, and then just kind of slowly melding that into our sound, which is
Nice.
pretty rad.
Well, that kind of leads me to the next question is like, what are some of the musical influences that you all pull from to create Big Salt music?
it's kind of funny. I think if you were to ask all four of us separately, we all have vastly different influences. You know, if Eva were here, she'd be like yacht rock, and you know, she's like, oh, just acoustic kind of stuff. And she's also from Canada, so like so I think that kind of adds to like her like the stuff that she loves.
Okay.
And I know I think we all wanted to sound heavy. We didn't want to sound like necessarily polished or you know, like precious-y kind of music. We wanted to sound like rock. Mm-hmm. And I think I kind of go back to like early punk as some of the things that I really want to bring out and highlight in our band. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I mean, like Eva definitely had a lot of her influences. Angie's a big PJ Harvey fan. And so were the rest of us, you know, in a way. I think Sally and I both definitely gravitated towards like multiple sounds, but blues being one of them that we talked about a lot. I grew up listening to a lot of R&B and soul and funk and Stax and Motown, as well as, although it might not be a direct influence of our band, but I grew up listening to a lot of classical music and hip hop too, so it spanned, but we definitely kind of slowly started going through the Rolodexes of our minds of like all of the vinyl and CDs that we've accumulated over the years, which has been pretty awesome.
Wow, that is comprehensive.
Well, and maybe a better way to say it is we know what we didn't want to sound like.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, because I think probably the one thing that brought all four of us together was the kind of the way that none of us felt really represented in local bands, and or the stuff that we wanted to hear anyway. Like we didn't. I think that was kind of a big motivator for me. Like we should play what we want to play and what we love. So
Right.
Nice. What has been you play out quite a bit locally as well as outside of the Twin Cities. Between venues that you've played kind of around the state and then, you know, kind of within close to the Twin Cities area, what have been some of your favorite venues to play? Just in terms of experience, sound, stuff like that.
yeah, the entry's great. That sounds so good there.
Turf Club.
Turf Club sounds amazing too. Yeah, both great places to play.
Fine Line. I know those are all like in a First Time Ever umbrella, but the Octopus.
Yeah. The Octopus in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Shout out to my homies.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think locally, you know, Palmer's is so fun to play.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, like you look out, everybody's there.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody's really nice. And the Hook and Ladder, that Hook and Ladder always sounds great.
Yeah.
People are great. It's a good place to play and support.
Yeah.
So
Also, big shout out to White Squirrel. They have amazing sound. The staff is awesome, and they've been supporters of us since pretty early on.
Yeah. That's a fun place to play.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like that staff they're just great. Like they're so supportive.
yeah.
What is coming up for Big Salt?
Well, we're actually playing down in Austin, in the middle of Austin for the Austin Arts Festival,
Okay.
which we're really excited about. And then one of my favorite shows I think that we're going to do this year is playing at the Octopus in Cedar Falls and Waterloo. We're going to be playing with a couple really great bands. The Rumors are from my hometown.
Okay.
And so they've done really well in the Midwest, kind of regionally. And so I'm super excited to play with them.
Cool.
Yeah. And then get home. And then we go, my mom always like makes us food when we come home. We all stay there. And then my dad gets everybody up at like 7 for like a big jam. And
That's pretty awesome.
That is so great.
Yeah, we get to kind of see where Sally grew up. And
the last time I was there, I kind of we were out kind of late partying. And then I remember I woke up at like 10 and I go downstairs and like Angie's at the piano and Eva's got her guitar out and Milan's got a couple makeshift drums. My dad's playing and I'm just like, this is so great.
it was like,
Oh my God, it was melted.
it was
That
fun.
is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Charlie was there. It was like, just like a lot of like positive energy, and then also, us getting to know each other over the years. It's like, oh, I see how Sally could come, like, kind of discover and hone and have this like awesome, like, fertile environment for music, which is pretty cool. So it's just one of those gigs that has like all these added bonuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
What's coming up? Do you have anything locally coming up?
Gosh, we're in September, we're playing at the White Squirrel.
September 20th, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. And I think
Well, Pillar.
Pillar. Yeah, we're playing Pillar actually next weekend. So
Fun venue.
Yeah.
I know.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've never been there. I've
Okay.
read about it. So, and we're playing with 2 really cool bands, Sparrowhawk and Linus. And
Oh,
so
nice. Oh, that's going to be such a fun
It's
bill.
gonna be
Good for
like
you.
rocking. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Final question. Our topic of the month this month is favorite new releases from this year. Do either of you have? Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, this is hard.
I know I should have said this before.
Sorry. No, it's okay. It's okay.
You guys think Mark will cut this part out?
Oh, I think Chapel Roan.
Okay.
I am not a huge pop fan, but I think her excitement for music and her costuming and her ability to like really perform and captivate an audience is really cool. I would actually go to see her in concert.
All right.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Milan?
You know what? I'm sure I could name like 10 albums. I'm going to go with Kendrick.
All right.
I think this is
Okay.
Kendrick's year. Kendrick, Not Like Us. That's my jam.
Cool. Well, thank you both for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Super
Thank
fun
you
to
for
have you
having
here. And folks can find you. You're on Bandcamp and
Yes.
Facebook,
Facebook,
and
Instagram.
all the stuff, all the
Our number one.
all the things. Cool. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you for having us.
said, that's all there is. Ain't no more to the show. If you all want to breathe right, you all better go. Well, I didn't hang around. I headed straight for the door. But on my way out, I heard that big band roar. Oh, Sheriff, what do you do to these men? You know that same other crowd that was here last night is back over. Dear Sheriff, what do you do to these men? You know that same other crowd that was here last night back over. Thank you. Thank you. This next selection is a semi-original. It's
It's called Lost Long and Lonesome Blues, and you can find it on my second full-length album called Hit the Moon. Will it feel my last strings are being pulled? Again I'll be made of old. It's just that lost again, lonesome blues. There's no savior saving, no Lord to refuse. And there isn't a saying that can turn all around, make it clear and seem profound. It's just that lost longing, lonesome blues, headed straight to the mark.
It doesn't matter.
And we're back with everybody's favorite segment, the topic of the month. And this week's topic of the month, it being July, except it's going to air in August, who knows. Favorite local releases so far. Claire, you go first.
I think the latest one that I really like is Bad Ideas Breakout. It's a 6-song EP that just came out.
Nice. That's John Ensley, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And what about you, Paul?
I have 3. They're all tied for first. The Shackletons came out with formerly the Albatross. Christy Costello's coming out of the dark. And this little band called the Silent Treatment. They're doing a suplex in 10. I love those 3
If
albums.
only somebody was here to explain the title of Suplex.
Yeah, exactly. Or to demonstrate a suplex.
Keely, come here.
And Pete?
So my top 3.
Yes.
Number 1 was probably Vile, Burnout by Vile, and their song Friendship Bracelet, tied with the Silent Treatment Scandalizer for Song of the Summer.
Okay.
I also really like the Christy Costello album, and I'm a big fan of the album Jazz by Unattractive Giant Monsters.
Nice. I think there's one thing we can all agree on here.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan is a dick.
I think we can agree
We
with
can
that.
agree on
If
that.
only there was a song
There
about
was
it.
a song about
If somebody would just tell the world that he was a union busting rat.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
And
yep.
a racist.
And a racist, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
And that he just is a compulsive liar.
Yeah, if somebody would just
Somebody
put that.
should sing that.
Now, what we're going to need to do next, though, is somebody's going to need to write an additional verse.
Yes.
Right.
About appearing at the Republican National Convention.
Right, or coming up with
Being a
shitty beer, or there's
bigger
just
dick.
you know what? It's like the fodder is just like endless.
He creates his own
It's-
dickness all over the place.
Makes his own gravy, I like to say.
The dickness of Hulk Hogan.
That'll be the exegesis. I write about Suplex in 10. The dickness of Hulk Hogan. Next, we have some clips from Mary Strand and the Garage
The Outcats.
The Mighty Mofos.
and Mad Mojo Jet.
And after that, we're going to have an interview coming up with Sean McPherson.
I went in the front door. That cat, he ran out the back. I went in the front door. He ran out the back. I lost his trail in the snow somewhere by the railroad tracks. Cause I was checking on my baby. Find out what she's putting down. Checking up on my baby. Find out what she's putting down. So many days and nights I've been out of town.
welcome back to Some Kind of Fun. I'm here with my friend Sean McPherson. Sean, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me down. It's nice to see you not at the Y, where I usually see you like 4 times a week.
Exactly. Sweating over different machines. Usually me swearing. It's always fun. Always fun. So let's start with you getting into the music scene. Now, you began High Respects back in high school?
1997, which was my junior year at St. Paul Central.
Okay.
And was also, I only moved to Minnesota in 10th grade. So I had met Felix, the rapper in High Respects, the year before. And we'd spent kind of a year BSing, but not really playing. And then we both kind of came back to his senior year and my junior year with this enthusiasm. Like, let's really make a band, find a name, and go for it. And go for it we have been for close to 30 years. So
that is great.
Yeah.
That is great. And so starting in high school, how does that work? How do you get bar gigs in high school? Or don't you? Do you just play school gigs?
You get bar gigs. I think there's that whole idea of dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Okay.
So if you start delivering the goods at a nightclub level at the coffee shop, the nightclub's going to call you. And if you start delivering at the theater level at the nightclub, the theater's going to call you. And for us, that came with playing in our high school a couple times and having people go, this is really good. And we didn't have songs. I just knew a couple bass lines, drummer knew a couple drum parts, and we were just playing. And then Felix and a young rapper named Lee Perry, who didn't stay with the group, were freestyling over it. And people were like, this is fun. This is cool. So we played our first not at St. Paul Central gig at Cahoots Coffee Shop, which is now Luminary Coffee Shop, where I just had coffee a matter of hours ago.
Nice.
And started playing there. And then did you ever cross paths with Jen Downham from Groove Garden and from KFAI?
Name sounds familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she is, and particularly was, a really important hub for sort of funky, forward-thinking music from 1992 to maybe 2005 or something like that in this town. She had a show on KFAI, which I think was called The Groove Garden. She had Groove Garden Records, and they had Freeloaded Wednesdays at the front, and they had something at the 400 bar, and they would do the Caboose every couple of weeks, and they'd do First Ave once a year. And they had to fill with 2 or 3 funky groups. And so she brought us into the 400 bar.
Okay.
We're all juniors or seniors in high school or sophomores in high school. And it was like a man who would be my boss 6 or 7 years later, Bob, was like, I know you're supposed to play last. You guys are playing first because we're going to kick you out right after you're done. He was nice about it, but you're going to get kicked out. And so it was really Jen Downham, the folks from Rhymesayers, who helped us establish ourselves earlier than we otherwise would have in like 21 plus worlds.
Right.
So.
Wow. And 30 years later, still at it.
Yeah, not the same all ages draw we once were. But, they started being like, "And do you want to do an all ages show?" And I was like, "For why?" Like I would love to do it, but
exactly. That might not be your current demographic.
That's right.
All right. And so, staying in the music side, then you moved into radio at a certain point. I mean, I think I first heard you doing Radio Free Current.
Yep.
So help us get into that transition.
So High Respects was like a going full-time concern for me until about 2006 or 7. And we had sort of hit that thing of like, okay, we signed a legitimately decent record deal with a decent advance. We signed with Razor and Tie, who has been, not like a leading force in music, but they got Dar Williams. They got, some names on there. And our record did relatively well on our terms. Not super great on their terms.
Okay.
But we were like, would you like to hear some more music from us, and they were like, "Why? We're not going to put it out." You're like, okay, and you hit that moment. And you go, "Oh, the highs are high." We had done a tour opening for Cake and the Walkmen. We had gotten some tour support. We had started to actually have a couple cities in America where we would sell out, 400 people rooms and things. And you go, "Okay, this is great," and then you go, "But it's not what it needs to be for the 6 of us to all own homes or be able to start families or do all those things." And you start to go, okay, and you can't write songs because you're nervous about money and you're nervous about responsibilities and things like that. So we pulled back. Then we thought about breaking up, but we had like a whole fall of tour dates. And our manager, Vicky Gilmer, who is a well-known person around town from that era and was the editor of Star Tribune and managed Lowe and managed Mason Jennings, she was like, "Don't cancel this fall, because then you're going to be persona non grata. You're going to be the people that canceled. Just go through the fall." And we fell in love with each other. We were like, great. By the way, I remember you asked me about radio. I'm sorry to keep yapping so much about music. And it was at that moment after finishing that tour where we had so much fun because we had decided we weren't going to be serious anymore.
Okay.
So suddenly they're just like, "Oh, I love you guys." And so we said, let's just be a legacy band, still a creative band, but not try to get out on the road or anything like that.
Sure.
Okay. So I finished college. While finishing college, I started working at a group home to cover my living expenses and things like that. And I said, "Oh, how can I just get into more things that aren't exactly playing music but are connected?" So I was still using my whole toolkit of connecting and being a self-promoter and a promoter for Higher Specs. And then I realized, I kind of enjoy doing trivia and I enjoy running trivia, and I competed at a couple like bar trivia things. And it was in that mold that I got into doing trivia.
Okay.
And then I started going, maybe I'm just one of those. Maybe, do you remember Ian Rand's?
Sure.
Okay. I was like, maybe I'm Ian Rand's V2 or whatever. Like maybe I'm guy. I don't know why they hired him, but we did. And it's no knock on me or on Ian, but it's one of those things where like, he's here again. Okay. And I was like, maybe that'll be me. And in that end, when I was taught by a woman who, Kim Randall, who ran No Alternative Records, and I was an intern for Kim Randall. She was like, look in town whenever somebody gets a new job, send them an email and say, "Congratulations, welcome to town," or "Welcome to the new gig." If somebody, new AE editor at the Minnesota Press, the Minnesota Daily, new Star Tribune editor, new program director at the Current. These are sort of like, the 15 coolest jobs in Minnesota. When somebody new gets those jobs, reach out to them and introduce yourself and go, "Hey, I'm not asking you for anything right now. I'm just, sort of priming the pump and making sure you can reach me if you need to," and vice versa. So when Jim McGuinn got the job as program director at the Current, I was like, "Hey, I just started a trivia company. You should have trivia on your morning show, and welcome to town." And it was a well-timed email because it was when Higher Specs was on the cover of City Pages for one of our records. And he was like, "I'm reading about you. Your band sounds awesome. This is cool. I'm not ready to add anything to the morning show yet. When I am, I'll reach out to you." So I do that every 6 weeks. Just, "Hey, how you doing?" And finally got the bite. And so started to do monthly trivia on the Current. Started to do bi-weekly trivia on the Current. And then they're like, "This is really good.
Okay.
Start to do trivia on the Current." And then at some point, they were like, "Sean's kind of like radio charming, independent of him just doing trivia." So they started calling me into sub. And then I started subbing a lot. And then I think I started subbing so much that they felt somewhat obligated to have me do more than subbing. Where they were saying, "We got to have some kind of thing for Sean." And that's kind of how I came in to doing music, to doing radio, was through trivia and through music.
Okay.
And sort of going, this person can cover a lot of bases. And I got really comfortable with it. And it's only been probably within the last 4 years where I've gone, this is not like a chapter in my journey as a musician, as a Ian Rand's wannabe, but rather like I'm going to be a radio person. If I stopped being a Jazz 88, which I have no intention of stopping, I would look for another radio gig. Like, I like this work. I feel good at it. So.
Yeah. So you move from the current to Jazz 88, and you're the program director?
I'm the music
director. All
Yes.
right. I don't understand the distinctions. So.
Imagine the joy of managing music compared to managing people, and that is the difference between a program director and a music director. I have to go, oh, I don't think we can play Archie Shepp today because there's not enough time. And program directors go, who can we have do a Celtic show?
Got it.
And so it's the music is
All right.
is my domain, and I'm the afternoon host as well.
Right.
So.
Now, did you have a big jazz background before you went there?
Yes.
I mean, I know you were on the hip hop side of
Yep.
things, but what was your jazz training that qualified you for music director?
I think there's a lot of times in the music world, if you're attempting to learn music,
Right.
you will be funneled towards jazz.
Right.
Because they go, oh, you don't play classical. Oh, there's a jazz band. Oh, this, oh, that. I had an appreciation for jazz because my father did and my brother did. But when I started trying to learn music, you kept on going like, okay, we're learning this Allman Brothers tune, but actually this sounds a lot like this Freddie Hubbard tune. Oh, okay, like they're doing some of the same stuff that Miles Davis is doing. Okay, who's that? How do we learn about those things? That brought me to when I got to Minnesota in 10th grade. At the same time I met Felix and started working with Harrispex, I started going to Walker West Music Academy on Saturdays for this jazz band, which was really well designed, and it's where Mint Condition, one of the greatest groups to ever come out of St. Paul, sort of got their start years earlier. In my second week of being in Minnesota as a student, I came in to a Latin class, and I was like, hey, I'm looking to try to connect with jazz musicians, as I was just talking to the cool kids in the class. And this guy, Tony Bell, may he rest in peace because he passed away, he was like, go play at Walker West on Saturdays and tell them you're replacing me because I don't want to do the gig anymore. So I walked in. That day I met Martin Devaney, Devon Gray, a bunch of the people I make a lot of music with.
Okay.
And it was a real book thing. And a real book is anybody who plays jazz is familiar. Pull out these charts. They're going to start counting them off. You're going to start playing them. They're going to tell you they're in different keys. You're going to have to be able to learn how to walk. You're going to have to learn how to read and all that. So that was jazz. Okay. And then I started listening. And then my bass teacher was into it. And then I did it in college. And I had studied with Phil Hay at the University of Minnesota doing his combos. And then anytime I toured, somebody in the band was vastly more into jazz than I was at the time. Peter Leggett, drummer for Harrispex, huge jazz enthusiast. He would throw that on all the time. When I was traveling with Dessa for a long time, Joey Van Phillips, our drummer, huge jazz fan, would throw that on. So I was osmosisizing it throughout.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
that's
throughout
cool.
that journey.
So as the music director, do you have a vision for where you kind of want to take things? Is there? So I don't listen to it as much as I should. I'm sorry, but
I accept your apology.
Are there genre specific shows on your? Just like is there the Bop Show, and then how does it set up?
Yeah. So a lot of my responsibility is for the more general programming running from 6 to 7 p.m. on weekdays, where we have students doing jazz with class alongside a fantastic group of professionals like DJ Dime and Jedediah Jones. And then the morning show done by Peter Solomon and the afternoon show done by myself. We have a lot of beautiful specialty shows, not the Bop Show, but we have like the Brazilian Hour. We have blues programming featuring a lot of incredible DJs on Fridays, etc. And I connect with those people and I say, hey, what can I do to help you? What artists do you want to connect with? What albums do you want to get a hold of? But my bread and butter is the programming that you might just call jazz. And for that, I do have a vision. And some of that vision involves celebrating the whole world of jazz in a way that is really digestible and appreciable and something that you can appreciate. And that means that was the mission before I got there. I'm not really changing course, but I also thought radio is not always for the purists. Radio is often for people who go, I want an adventure this afternoon.
Right.
And I want those folks to hear things within every half hour to 45 minutes. that they're going to really understand, oh, this, I already knew about this artist and I'm really glad to hear it. I want you to hear John Coltrane. I want you to hear Billie Holiday. I want you to hear Ella Fitzgerald, because I don't want you to go, I like jazz. You turn on Jazz 88 and you spend 45 minutes lost in the wilderness, not knowing what you're hearing. And on top of that, I think one of the best experiences of being a music fan, and your program is a testament to this, but is to fall in love with something and then be able to go see it somewhere.
Right.
So I really prioritize those national groups that are traveling and getting to the Twin Cities, and I really prioritize the local groups that are playing on stages, so that when you turn on Jazz 88 and you hear Wayne Shorter, you go, I get that. And then you hear L.A. Buckner and you go, I can see him in a week and a half. He's playing somewhere. I want that thick experience.
That is great. So what do you have coming up? What does High Respects have coming up?
High Respects is doing our second annual Summer Classic on August 17th with a really exciting group called Rebecca. That's a younger jazz group that I discovered through my work at Jazz 88. And then Greg Grease, one of the finest rappers to ever come out of the Twin Cities, former member of Astro Black / Zulu Zulu, and somebody who we've sort of shared community with for 15, 20 years. And then the Emily, a fantastic DJ who we've worked with a lot, sort of more just knowing her. We've known her since high school. She's part of Cutthroat DJs, and she's going to be spinning. And we're doing it at the James J. Hill House. We haven't done it there before, and I'm very excited about the whole thing.
That should be very cool. Yeah. It's very exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming here, Sean.
Well, it's a
really
pleasure to be
appreciate
here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Darkest time she's ever seen. Underneath the really green. Anything there in between. She's anything but what she's seen. Goldilocks, the top of the head at the base. Would have read a smile that shot. Now one is dead. She stays awake to have that dream. Like a melody. Well, behave, how much to make? These days,
It's everybody's favorite segment, upcoming shows. Claire, we're gonna have you go first.
Well, Dragnet has a 40th anniversary show with the Grand Machine at the Driftwood on August 17th.
That sounds great.
I think it's going to be fun.
The Flamin' O's are playing Mears Park on the 15th. That'll be an awfully fun show.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward on August 24th at the Turf Club. Scrunchies has their album release show featuring In Lieu and Mary Jam.
Cool.
That's a good show.
Yeah. I've never seen In Lieu before.
They're good.
They're good.
They're very
You'll like
good.
them.
I figure if they're on that bill, I'm going to like them.
You got to be good.
They're not going to be like
Yeah.
They will
Captain
not.
and Tennille or anything like that.
That is correct.
They
That-
could be, but they
Are they
won't be.
Are they just going to come out and do like all slow Billy Joel songs?
Yes.
Okay.
In lieu of punk rock. That's where they got
Get
the
it?
name. They're doing it in lieu of.
Clever. Clever.
Thank you.
And playing us out, Tiny Day.